I've been saying it for a year, and I'm going to say it again. Every belt has a story. Can't wait to hear yours. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Wrestling Realm Presents Season 2 of Championship Culture. I'm Brandon the Guy, and remember, every belt has a story. Now, before we get into today's content, I want to remind you of a couple quick things. Did you know that you can watch all of the Wrestling Realm content at any time just by going to youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm? This includes all of Season 1, and you can catch up on Season 2. Now, don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, which includes Threads, X, and Facebook, just by using @WrestlingRealm or on Instagram using Championship Culture _. Like and subscribe and engage in the conversation when we talk about all things wrestling. You can also download all of our audio content at any time just by going to Anchor, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. You can watch our Twitch channel just by going to @The Wrestling Realm. Now, if you want to save some money on your purchases for any live concert, baseball is kicking off, let the guys at the Wrestling Realm save you. So go over to SeatGeek.com and we're going to save you a few bucks by using the code Wrestling Realm. It'll save you $20 of any purchase of $50 or more. Now, with that being said, guess what today is about? Today, we're all going to say thank you. And when I say all, myself and the super producer Has the Third and the brothers at the Wrestling Realm want to say thank you. Because without you, there would be no Championship Culture. Without the love and support that we've received, I don't think that we would even have the chance to bring you some of these pretty titles and the stories behind them. We want to thank all the guests that have been on. Some guests have been repeat. Some guests will continue to support, and we want to say thank you. We appreciate people taking that time out of their day every Tuesday at 8 p.m. or going back and rewatching it on youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm under the playlist Championship Culture. But that's enough about me. Today's episode is focused all on you. Now, here are some of the clips that we received where people are telling us every belt has a story. And trust me, stick around to the end. You're going to want to see this one.
Randy Savage here from Four Sides of the Ring. And I'm here because every belt has a story. And the story behind these are my two favorite belts. One from the 90s being held by The Rock, Stone Cold, Mankind. And this from the modern era being held by Roman Reigns. Now, the story I'm about to tell you is actually from 1971. In 1971, Pedro Morales won the World Heavyweight Championship from the Russian Bear, holding that title for 1,027 days. But that wasn't the only reign he held. He was also the only Puerto Rican champion for the next 50 years. Now that ended at WrestleMania 40, when Senior Money in the Bank Damian Priest cashed in on Drew McIntyre, becoming the second Puerto Rican World Heavyweight Champion. And when that happened, I screamed wepa to the heavens, because I know Pedro Morales was looking down proud. And as proud as we all were, as proud as I am, this story isn't necessarily about me, as it is more about my father, who at 6 years old witnessed Pedro Morales win the World Heavyweight Championship. And now, 53 years later, at 59 years old, has witnessed Damian Priest become the second Puerto Rican World Heavyweight Champion. Now, I don't want to say we finished the story, because I do hope for more. But as proud Puerto Ricans, I just want to say thank you, Damian, and congratulations on becoming the second Puerto Rican World Heavyweight Champion.
Speaking of stories, every belt has a story.
What's the story behind those?
Got him.
I like that. So here's the story. So I bought this for me and my buddy, but since WrestleMania weekend, I asked him if he would relinquish one half of the tag team championships, and he would be willing to let my lovely girlfriend here be the tag champion with me for the weekend for WrestleMania, so we could do it big together. So this is now our third WrestleMania together and our fourth year dating, which is very funny because we started dating right after Roman won the title, the Universal Championship.
Been together his whole reign.
We've been together his whole reign. and we're hoping we get to see the end of the reign this weekend. So that's the story behind the tag titles.
Hello, my name is Dennis King, and this is Every Belt Has a Story. As you can see, this is the NWA Heavyweight Championship belt. The NWA stands for the National Wrestling Alliance. And the National Wrestling Alliance was a group of territories in different areas of the United States that wrestled. And that territory was anywhere from America, of course, Japan, Canada, Mexico, and Australia. And the NWA World Champion would always travel from different cities and different territories, different countries to represent this belt. And whoever had this belt, whether it be Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, there's so many names you could name, they were like the man, you know what I'm saying? And this was the very first belt that I saw and grew up loving. Growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, watching Jerry Lawler, I got to see him wrestle against Ric Flair for this belt, Jack Briscoe, different champions like that. And this belt, and like I said, growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, you got to see Memphis. Memphis wrestling was part of the Alliance. So that was what I saw. So this was the very first belt that I loved, and I made it my duty to, when I started my belt collection, this will be the very first belt I would get. And that's my story.
Every belt has a story, according to the Prototype 619. He says, so my story is my first ever replica. The network logo WWE Championship from 2014 to 2023. This particular version is actually the Toys R Us version that was sold around 2016, and my mother got it for me for Christmas that year. One of the few times I actually broke down and cried in happiness because I always wanted a belt in my whole life and finally got one of my own. So I immediately bust open the package and ran downstairs and put the ending of WrestleMania 31. My first WrestleMania, she was there with me as well, and acted out the full Seth Rollins celebration at the end, swinging the belt around my head and all. The belt has gone with me to my 6 of 9 Manias in attendance and is signed by one of the all-time favorites, AJ Styles. Waited 2.5 hours at a Walmart in New Orleans on Mania 34 to meet him, and it was worth it. In addition to this belt, it was with me when seeing Kofi Mania at 35, and Brother Rhodes finishing the story and one of the greatest Manias of all time at 40.
I remember the first time they introduced this belt. As soon as Jeff pulled this belt and threw away the other one, I knew I loved it, especially when it had the purple on it. And that heel turn he had is probably my favorite part of his career. I have a lot of autographs on him with many different belts, but this is definitely my favorite out of all. And I remember no manufacturer was ever making a belt until this guy right here, Brandon Guy, he decided to find a way to make it happen, and I couldn't think of enough for it. Probably the best belt that Jeff has ever had and ever
will. What's going on, y'all? This is NitRam, the one that makes you say, oh damn. And this is my Every Belt Has a Story video. My title is, now I don't have a big replica or anything like that because budget issues of being a father, but I do have, and it's the only one I keep, the AEW title the World Championship for this company. And the reason why is simple. In 2019, I was ready to give wrestling a break. Everyone has one, I think, and I was ready to do it. I was ready just to take that break from wrestling. I was getting tired of the product. And of course, the announcement of AEW came. This company was starting up. They were doing press conferences. And in these press conferences, they were telling everyone who they signed. The Lucha Brothers. They brought Y2J in. They brought all these superstars that I love to watch. And it was something fabulous. And then the first episode came. And it was great. But they did a title reveal. And in that title reveal, they showed this title. This wonderful looking title. It was this big gold beautiful title. The lettering was awesome, the engraving was beautiful, and it gave me this hope because I looked at that title and I said that title is going to hold prestige. That title looks like something that people actually want. It didn't seem like a big branding. It didn't look like a big old toy that they sell in the supermarket. It was something that looked like it came from a Japan or a Mexico where wrestling was loved, and I feel like in America's we were lacking that. And this title has only held up its end of the promise. From its first reign to Chris Jericho to its reign right now with Samoa Joe, this title, individually, all its stories that have been involved with it, have kept me in love with wrestling. And that's why every title has a story, and this is this belt's story. Thank you.
Now, remember I told you, if you stick around today, you're going to want to see this. So here's some unseen footage from when The Realness actually breaks down his tag belt. So here's Every Belt Has a Story, according to The Realness. He's going to give you a little insight.
This is a beauty though. I like it though. This is clean, to the point, original logo. Most people don't know that. This is our targeting logo. You know why this is a targeting logo? It's because we had a lot of people we were targeting at when we first got started. So that's a lot of the key components though. But this is definitely a classic look, classic silhouette.
Is this the heel turn of the real Dwayne Allen? I feel like this might be a heel turn. He got his glasses on.
I feel like
He got the shades. He kind of looking very heelish.
got a little New Japan vibes.
Oh yeah.
The belt tip.
And I'm gonna tell you the story why it's only a half a belt tip.
Okay.
A full belt tip will scratch your plates when you have it on.
Oh, see, there you go.
I learned that, so that's why I did the half belt tip.
See, that's information that you have to know. Brought to you by the Belt King himself. So, yep, this is it though, man. After all these weeks, I mean, this nigga's been to Monday Night Raw. It's been with Batman. It's been with, it was ridiculous. It's turned into a whole thing.
It went more places than my belt.
Bruh. How? It makes no sense. Anyways, not anymore. She's finally home with a proud owner. So, see this.
Well, there you have it. Every belt has a story, and now you got to hear some of them. Stay tuned to our social media because we'll be releasing more clips throughout the week leading up to our biggest show of the year, and that being Big Gold versus the World. Tuesday, April 30th at 8 p.m. Tune in for probably the biggest show with the largest amount of guests that Championship Culture have had. And we're going to all break down why it's always Big Gold versus the World. And at the end of that episode, we will be giving away this Big Gold to some lucky person. Yep. This belt right here. If you want a chance to win, tune into our social media and check out the rules. And as always, every belt has a story, and I can't wait to hear yours.